Welcome one and all to the top shelf in this room, number 48 of the Shelf by Shelf series. And don't worry, this is not a placement for the camera I'll be using for future videos, you know, this wide shot of the entire shelf. But I thought, how on earth am I going to do this without having to take trips back to the camera to tilt it round and see everything? Well, I figured up the microphone volume to the max and hopefully it will still catch me, but basically I figured doing a wide shot of everything would work better. So this is the last of the Shelf by Shelf videos. We've already done the top shelf in the other room, which was basically random stuff as well as a few games, so it's now a mess in that room. Thank you guys for making me make a mess of that room, but I did say I wanted to rearrange the top of these shelves, so maybe this is just a call to action. But so these are not actual real boxes, I just basically have them spare so that in videos it looks a bit nicer than a grey box. I mean, that's the thing, that's slightly off-putting, but let's take some of these down. Scythe Collector's Edition, Spectre Ops, Sentinels of the Multiverse Oblivion, and the rest again, it's a bit of a mess, I do apologise, I really do need to tidy up the top shelves, in particular with this lot, and half of this room. Problems with trying to rejuvenate a blog as well as do my remote working in my day job here as well as do other things. It's like, crazy. Righty, so first off, you remember I mentioned about those tins that I had before? This is what I was using before, and they're quite big, they're not bad, but you can't see through them and they have limitations, but I keep them handy just in case. Alrighty, remote control of the TV, don't need that. Right, ooh, what to do first? Again, I can't get these out for you. There's just too much, there's too big, but I will try and do my best to take off maybe a top shelf. So this, the website doesn't exist anymore, by the way, so don't ask me where I got these from, I'm afraid. But this was pretty much the same website that did all these boxes. And they did laser printing for all of them, and they hold pretty much my stuff where bloat got in the way. So this is pretty much what the top shelf is. This one with this fantastic map of Innsmouth with, Massachusetts Innsmouth with the actual map of it. Really cool. This is my Arkham Horror Vault. And it basically contains everything to do with Arkham Horror 2nd Edition as well as Eldritch Horror. The problem is I don't have the boxes anymore for these games, so even if I wanted to get rid of this game, I can't, because I can't sell it like this. But I still really love the game, I just haven't really managed to get it to the table much. Again, lonely man, people haven't visited. But Arkham Horror 2nd Edition I just couldn't bear to sell, because it's a behemoth of a game to get to the table, but it's so thematically juicy, I love it. But I just keep it in the vault. The Eldritch Horror on the other hand is a bit easier to get to the table, and I do really like the game. Problem is, bloat. Fantasy Flight expansions went overkill for this, so if I try and get it down one or two shelves, so this I think is purely to do with Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. So you've got the boards underneath there, as well as all the tokens. And we've got the portals, the monster tiles, the character tiles, and bear in mind I expanded everything in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, so everything is in there. But yeah, the original. And it's a bit hard to get this out with one hand, but yeah, multiple boards. You know, basically, if I want to play Arkham Horror 2nd Edition again, I have everything I need for it. It's just a bit of a mammoth to get it out, shall we say. What's the next one? Next one I can probably get out for you. This one is more Eldritch Horror and tokens. So we've got Eldritch Horror various manuals here. Bear in mind I've expanded this one, I think, completely. Don't think there's a single one I don't have. There's even Arkham Horror 2nd Edition rulebooks in here, so this is all the rulebooks. And a bunch of tokens which are pretty much for Eldritch Horror, although I do have those funky Arkham dice, which are really cool as well. So, you know, this is basically everything to do with that. And I can't get everything down for you because this video will not only take forever, but I will probably do my head in terms of lifting all this. So, just gonna pop these back on here and we'll move on. But yeah, you know, I enjoy the game a lot. It's just bloat got in the way. And besides, you try lifting that off the shelf. Right, what's this? Again, the guy did these really cool crates like really nice engraved crates for storage. And this one is Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. So yes, I've been pulling up the box from down there, but that's not all my Mansions of Madness stuff. All my Mansions of Madness stuff is in this. Let's see if I can get this one open. Cool. So basically it opens up and you've got Mansions of Madness rulebooks in there first, although let's take out that because that's the boring bit. And so there's not a huge amount in here, but it's just basically the plastic tokens that I've got, baggies and stuff, and all the Mansions of Madness tiles, as well as the cards which are underneath this original tray up here. So if I take out those for tokens, there's the cards and everything out there. You probably can't see it that well, but whoop, cool, need to track my fingers in there. But you've got the cards and that at the bottom and tiles underneath, so it's a bit of a close, shall we say, a close squeeze in there, but basically it just contains everything that I have for Mansions of Madness 2nd edition, and it's easy enough to set up out of this box. So that one basically I think just holds miniatures, whereas this holds tiles and cards. And that did trap my hand actually, but oh well, health risk. I'm gonna put this down here. Righty. Something a little bit easier to handle. What's this one? No. Oh, that's literally just a spare. Yeah. This one originally contained Arkham Horror stuff, or it might have been Eldritch. Actually, I think this was Eldritch Horror originally. Yeah, it was purely just Eldritch Horror stuff, or it might have been Arkham Horror LCG maybe. Yeah, actually, I think this was an Arkham Horror LCG box that I had before I got what's coming up later. But yeah, it's just an empty box. Didn't cost me that much. I mean, that's why it's not too much of a waste. But I might need to pull this box back again actually, because I'm starting to run out of room in the binders, although we'll have to see. But I kept the spare because, well, I can't get rid of it. Seriously, it's a cool box. Right. This one on the other hand does get used. This one is Dominion. Yes, the Dominion card game. I mentioned I've got it and I hadn't forgotten. It is around, but in here, nothing much interesting, just the rule books. And I have not expanded all of Dominion. You know, I've bought, I think, 3 of the big expansions: Seaside, Prosperity, and Hinterlands, and I've got guilds. And I'm happy with that. I don't want any more expansions. Anything beyond that is overkill. But I printed some dividers off Board Game Geek, spent an eternity laminating the rotten things, and even then they weren't the best size. But basically I just have a bunch of Dominion in here, and from my favourite expansions, and I enjoy the game. You know, Dominion is still a really good deck builder, and this one isn't too difficult to take to a game night, but you have to understand that with these are pretty much games that I'm playing when people visit here as opposed to taking them to a game night. This one is I could transport this to a game night, but it would be the only game I take. So, and I tend to take a variety. I'm going to be slightly careful actually, because I've just noticed a whopping great big spider on my TV there, and I don't like spiders, so you better stay where you are. Oh, he's moving, I don't like it. Alrighty, this one, I am so not getting all of this out for you, give me a break. Legendary. So, all my legendary card games. So we're talking the Alien Encounters, we're talking Firefly Encounters, we're talking Predator Encounters, we're talking Marvel Legendary. They're all in this ridiculously big vault. So I don't have to take the whole crate down if I want to play a game, I just have to take the specific shelf. Although I think the top 2 shelves are basically playmats and dividers. And yeah, more playmats. So those 2 are easy enough, they just come off anyway. But just to look in the top, this one I believe is, I'm not going to get them all down, you just have to bear with me, but here we go. This one is a mixture actually. The right hand side is extra Marvel Legendary stuff, so I've printed off dividers from the internet to use, which have been really cool, don't want to lose the spot. Ugh. But I've also got a little bit of extra bit from Alien Legendary in there, the stuff that I don't really use, like the David part of Alien Covenant, etc. And this entire bit down here is Firefly Legendary, because that was all there was for Firefly Legendary. It was quite a small set when you think about it cards-wise. But this is excess Marvel Legendary, and that's Firefly. The next one has got entirely Alien and Predator in it. Same sort of style, bunch of cards, bunch of dividers. And then these two shelves are nothing but Marvel Legendary. So yeah, I got a love for this game. Still love them all. I prefer the encounters, but you know, the Marvel Legendary is good as well. But I have got to the point where I'm kind of in that stage of my gaming where I've got to think, okay, enough is enough. Do you need this many expansions for a game that you don't get to play every week? And it's helping me a bit because they've just released Heroes of Asgard and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for Marvel Legendary as well. And I'm like, oh, but I like S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the TV show. Season 7 back on, getting really good so far. But it's like, oh, I want it, but I can't. Must not buy any more expansions for Marvel Legendary because it would just be pointless. It'd just be a waste of money. I'd have to get the dividers and laminate them again. I'd have to sleeve the cards. All that effort for an expansion I'll probably play once or twice in my life. It's just not needed, and this is something that more people need to do. You need to be careful with, well, I don't want to say careful with your money because I've probably spent way too much money on this stuff, you know, hypocrite. But, you know, I've now reached that point where I have to say, yeah, you know what, when it comes to expansions, let's be realistic here. And certainly it's helped me with a few Kickstarters lately. So, pop these back on. Come on. Is that everything? I think so. Ah, put it on the wrong way around, I'll sort that out later. Righty, what have we got here? Some spare Keyforge decks. I don't play Keyforge, I reviewed it. I think it's a decent game, but it wasn't one I wanted to play properly. But I've just basically got a bunch of spare decks that I accumulated during my time with it, and some of them aren't even open. So I've kept them just because it's cheap. If somebody comes around and they like Keyforge, I can at least go, oh well, I'll whip out one of my decks and see what happens. And it doesn't exactly take up much storage space on the shelf, does it? Alrighty, this, I don't know where I got this from. Did I buy this? No, I think this came with the Geekism table I bought, actually, because I got the Geekism table here. I think this just came with it. And I've just accumulated a ton of dice from the conventions whenever I've entered their raffles because, you know, you could win another table and, you know, and I'm more than happy to take on a new table downstairs in my kitchen if someone wants a review of it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, like hell. But, you know, and I've got some interesting little D12s here. In fact, I have no idea. It's an entire D&D dice set, and I have no idea where they came from. I literally don't. They're cool, but I have no idea where they came from. But yeah, this is just basically a dice tower. I don't tend to use dice towers, but if I wanted to use it for whatever reason, I now have something to use it. So I think I've just kept it because, well, it's a big solid plank of wood and it looks cool. Right, something a bit more manageable, please. This one, Flashpoint Fire Rescue. So Flashpoint Fire Rescue, the first game I ever reviewed on this channel, and still love it, still have it. It's a fantastic co-op. This is essentially the storage crate for that. And this one, here we go. Oops, an Allen key there. Oh, careful. There we go. So you've got the tokens on the top, all in there from the various expansions. I've expanded this fully. All the boards, all the rule books in it. Fairly simple storage case, and I can take this to a game night pretty easily enough. But yeah, I love Flashpoint Fire Rescue. I think it's an excellent co-op. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting this to the table again at some point, but it's simple. You can make it a bit more meaty with the expansions. You can be in a house, an apartment building, an office, a submarine, a ship, you know, across the water. You can do all sorts with this. And it's just a really cool game, and the crate wasn't too expensive either. I think I got it from Board Game Extras on this occasion, so go check out their website in the UK if you want to really store all your Flashpoint Fire Rescue stuff. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty good one overall. Cool. I know it's a little bit dusty on top of this shelf. That's the problem when you've had boxes up here for ages. Allen key, put that away somewhere. Alrighty. Moving on, now we're getting into the creme de la creme of games I love to play solo, the LCG collection. I've got 3 LCGs on the go, and all of them I love. I mean, I like LCGs in general, but I only play the co-op ones now, because I couldn't keep up with the competitive ones, the power creep was just too much, And, you know, I gave up Netrunner for that reason. I loved Netrunner. Netrunner was such a good game, but I just couldn't keep up with the competitive side of it. And even then, you play against somebody who's competitive, like in a tournament, and it's like, hey, let's have fun, it's only a game. What? Hey, come on. It's like, and it's just like Magic the Gathering. I mean, they will tear your throat out to get the victory prize. And it's just like, no. You know, I don't like tournaments. Tournaments are just like, there's always that one person who takes it too seriously, and you're always going to be playing against that person, and it won't be fun. It just won't be fun. I like to play my games casual, but the co-op ones, on the other hand, the communities for these are fantastic because there's no bad blood. Nobody's out to get you or beat you at something. You're all under the common goal of beat the deck, beat the villain, beat the objective. And so people are willing to help each other out, make cool decks, help them out of play and everything. And the communities for these three are some of the best board gaming communities you can get. I kid you not. First up, we got a little bit of extra. Oh, that's my Ramona. Not Ramona. What do we call it? What do we call it? As dusty as we'll get out there. This is my Black Widow deck for Marvel Champions. Marvel Champions. Everything currently fits in this box. However, it's getting to the point now where it's starting to overfill, and I kind of need more space. I need a storage solution stat because all the things are there, and then underneath, basically all the cards sleeved with dividers as normal. But yeah, I'm starting to run out of room in here, guys. I need advice. I don't want to put them in the Arkham Horror box because that seems a little counterintuitive, but how are people storing their Marvel Champions at this point? Because sooner or later I'm going to run out of space. What about that new box that's coming out, the season one, the Red Skull one? Will that be a box big enough to hold everything? I don't know. I wouldn't mind knowing on that front, but if you can let me know, that'd be great. Alright, keeping up with all this dusty stuff. Right, I can only take so much down from these, but basically this crate is just like this crate. It's basically, or that one down there, sorry. It's basically a card holding crate. But this contains a lot of my Lord of the Rings LCG card collection. So it's got a ton of, I think this one is primarily for encounter cards from like the original core set all the way up to God knows what cycle. And then this, which I will get down for you guys, is another one of those engraved crates for the Lord of the Rings. And this one holds the rest of the encounter cards because Lord of the Rings LCG is quite big at the moment, but this one, basically, the spare cards I've got, so I've still got space in here for more, and to be fair, they are still releasing stuff, but this one I think more has the standalone adventures like Fog on the Barrow Downs, or Forest, Stone of Eric, or whatever it's called. It's got a couple of decks that I use, and some of the Saga expansions, the ones that covered the Lord of the Rings movies and The Hobbit. You know, really cool, but basically it's just extra storage space and it does me well. In there, it's just basically a lot more cards, and I have some decks in these things, but I have two folders for the actual cards. So, a bit of a makeshift thing. I basically just printed off the cover of the rulebook or something, or one of the core sets, and put the sleeve divider in a sense down here. I think somebody, well, didn't take much to figure out, but basically it's the files with, you know, plastic sleeves. So I figured it's just a nice way to identify it. But this is one of two folders I have for Lord of the Rings. So these rulebooks are going to fall out if I don't do anything with them, so I'll just take them out. But yeah, there's two ring binders with the player cards. This is just 2 spheres worth, so leadership and lore. The other one's spirit and tactics and neutral. And yeah, I love this game. I mean, it is hard as all get out, particularly solo mode. There can be some quests which are frustrating in the sense that you have to build your deck specifically for them. But I love the game. It is so thematically rich, and if you love Lord of the Rings like I do, it is a must. But it is quite hard and quite expansive at the moment. You're going to have to really be careful about how many cards you buy and where from exactly. So that's Lord of the Rings. And the final one, the final game for the Shelf by Shelf saga. Woo-wee! Arkham Horror LCG. So with this, you've got a few boxes that I use, the Return to boxes that they've been releasing. These hold everything from tokens to the slips that you get in the packs, you know, for the instructions, to the chaos token bags, etc. You know, I've got one on the table there as well. But basically, that's what these are. You know, I don't actually keep my collection in these, mainly because it kind of all fits in another crate. Although these are quite useful for storing your cards, so I may have to revisit that at some point. But the crate is pretty cool, and that's why. Folder-wise, yeah, I haven't done that with this one. This one doesn't have the sleeves, but basically, same deal. So Arkham Horror, all the player cards, Guardian, Rogue, Survivor, Mystic, Neutral, everything in there, organised-ish. Could do with maybe a little bit of a tidy up at some point, but yeah, all the Arkham Horror cards. And of course, there we go. Oh yeah, just a note, I never did find the Harvest dice set behind all of these. I think I know where it is. I think it's at the Game Cafe, but certainly not lost here. So, here we go. So we've got a Miskatonic University engraving on the front. Open up. And encounter cards. So I am almost full up with this one. You know, it almost is at a point where it's full, which is why I'm a little bit concerned when we get to the next cycle what exactly I'm supposed to do in terms of storage. Hence, I might revisit that box down there that I said I was keeping spare, because it's got Arkham Horror on the top. There's no reason why I couldn't use it. But I also have the return to boxes, which I could make better use of as well. So maybe that might be a better, cleaner idea, but we shall see. So that's my Arkham Horror LCG. So there you go. That's all of them. Shelf 50, well, top of shelves 50, whatever you want to call it. And that concludes the shelf by shelf series. You've been more than supportive with this. Thank you for keeping in touch and watching it and letting me know how it's going with the changes in like visual style throughout. 50 videos on its own playlist. It will be here to stay. And you know, I've got big plans for the future. A podcast microphone, a new camera mic, various ideas for how the videos are going to be done, how the podcast is going to improve. All this stuff will be to come. But in terms of videos for this season, there'll probably be one more, which will be the top 10 deck builders, because I've already recorded the video and I can't really change the format of it now. So that will probably be the last video I do in this style. And then after that, we'll be launching newer stuff. So bear with me for releases. You know, this will officially mark the end of daily content. I know you've been more than happy for me to release a daily video during the isolation COVID period, and you know, I'm glad you guys have, you know, been very happy to receive videos so frequently, whether it's the shelf videos or top 10s or other reviews, to receive them daily since what, the start of April, I think it was. I mean, I think this was when I started it. Yeah, daily since then. It's been a bit of a mission, yeah, it has to be said, you know, to try and get enough content in there, but I literally will hit burnout if I don't put the frequency back to the way it used to be and streamline it, because otherwise I will keel over dead. It's too much work. My day job is already working me to the bone, and so is preparing for the next season bit. I need time to prepare. So as much as you've loved the daily content, you gotta be honest, it's not feasible for a channel to do daily content, and it's not even good for a channel to do daily content from a subscriber and, you know, what's the word? Not SEO, but, you know, well, to get out there more. Daily content isn't what you need. And let's face it, some of the bigger people in this industry don't release daily content, so and they do just fine. Not to mention they also have a team of people. I'm just little old me. So good stuff to come. I won't bore you anymore, but thanks for keeping up with me for this series. I hope you liked it. I hope you've got some ideas of games that you want to check out yourselves, or you've just got some more insight into the type of games I like. So when I keep talking about, you know, dry games and thematic games and like LCGs and big box Euros and the small gateway family stuff, you know, hopefully you can get more of an idea of the sort of games I like. You'll understand more about when I say certain things in reviews and top 10s. You'll understand, yeah, this is kind of what he likes, you know, this will be interesting. And when I come across a game I normally wouldn't like, but do like, you know, it will mean a little bit more to you. So, as I say, this is just my opinion, my collection. Your collections probably look completely different to this, whether they're bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter. It's what you enjoy playing that matters, what you like. Not whether I like it, whether you like it. So, that's it for me. I'm going to sign off now, get some dinner, deal with that spider, and, you know, get on with the rest of all this planning. Not to mention tidy up my shelves, because you've just made me basically turn the place into a tip. Oh boy, better get the duster out. So that's it for me. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video, which won't be too long, I promise, you know, but just give me a little bit of time. So take care. Thank you all so much, so much. You're all wonderful people, and I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video. Remember, as always, it's only a game. Take care, stay safe, support each other, and I'll catch you later.